a lot of the big box gyms I've been in, people are strength training and losing a lot of time.
Yes.
Doing things they shouldn't. Our goal on this is to help people work out more efficiently, more frequently, and get better results and know the most effective methods.
Good. We're going, right?
Yeah, we'll do it.
I'll do the intro again.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Soda Personal Training Podcast. We help busy adults get strong and fit. I'm Sean, one of your hosts. Phil, like today, this is happening so fast, right? Everything is moving so fast that we don't even have time to intro this.
But we got to get people the information.
Yeah.
We got to do it. It's our duty.
Yep.
So we're gonna jump in. We got probably 20 minutes for this.
Yeah.
Today we're talking about the best, basically workout kind of programming for building muscle and burning body fat, right?
Correct.
That's the premise. What do you think is most worth sharing to people, right out of the get-go, that they need to know about what the most effective methods are?
Well, I'm going to tell them what they need to know within the first minute here, at the risk of losing all of them and having our listenership be low because they only listen for 1 minute. I'm going to give them what they need right here, okay?
Let's hook them.
3 times per week, full body strength training workout. Yep. Period. End of story. Yep. And then just move your body on the other days, okay? You just don't be a total couch potato on the other days.
Yep.
Now, we'll dive into the details on what that means, but 3 days a week, full body strength training, could be an hour-long workout. If you only got 30 minutes, we can make that work really well as well. Okay, it doesn't necessarily have to be a full hour, but 3 days. Maybe there's, ideally a rest day in between. So it might be Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It might be Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, whatever. Right? 3 days.
Are you plugging us? Did you just plug us?
I did not. I didn't specifically do
it. No, it's good. I'm not opposed to it. No,
first shameless plug of the
day. It is good. We can talk a little bit about efficiency because I do want to talk a little bit about program design and what the most effective methods are, because a lot of the big box gyms I've been in, people are strength training and losing a lot of time.
Yes.
Doing things they shouldn't. So we'll jump more into that. But that really is it. It's strength training 3 days per week. It's compound movements, meaning it's multi-jointed. So you have compound and isolation movements. Isolation movements are like tricep push downs, bicep curls, things like that. Yeah. Especially if you're new, you don't need to mess with those for a very long time. You want to focus on the bigger movements. Think pushing away from your body, like a push-up or a bench press or shoulder press, rows, pull-downs, squats, hinges.
Yep.
That's it.
And then we usually add in a couple other categories like rotation, a carry movement. Yep. But we're really talking about somewhere between 6 and 10 main movement patterns. And you just hit on a lot of them. And the interesting thing here is, obviously we make this, we kind of put out our content and our clientele here as mostly busy adults that might only have 30 minutes 3 times a week, right? Yep. So this is how we do it. But honestly, even for the people out there who are more, fitness fanatics and they're like, well, hey, no, that's not for me. That's for general population. I want to be advanced, I want to get jacked out of my mind, right?
Sure.
Honestly, even in my own personal fitness, I admittedly do work out basically every day, but I always have to modify the intensity because you can't go super, super hard every day.
Right.
And the times where I see that the best gains, literally the most muscle growth and just the most strength overall, is when I'm following basically a 3-day-a-week full body strength training workout.
Yep. So
it's this big misconception because the bodybuilding world and the YouTube rabbit holes have told us, that we got to do some body part split where it's like Monday is International Chest Day, Tuesday is back and biceps, Wednesday is legs, but maybe we skip legs or something like that. And Thursday is now we're doing shoulders or something. And, sure, there's value in that. But honestly, a full body strength training routine 3 days a week is great for people with almost any fitness goal.
That's what the science says.
Yeah.
The bodybuilding split that a lot of people may start with, they're like, oh, it's leg day. But then, especially if they're new, they're sore for 7 days.
Yes.
It happens all the time. It does not take much to get catastrophically sore from workouts if you're new. It's the dosage is too high. It's too new. It's a new stimulus. So those of you who are newer, for sure, do total body so you're not wrecked the next day. Because you're going to go in, you're going to work hard, and you're going to be really sore. And that's not what we want. If you can't do another workout the next day because you're too sore, you went too hard. This whole chasing soreness thing, it's so overrated, and it's is so much less effective than a lot of people think it is.
Yeah.
It's cool to be a little sore because it tells you work muscle tissues and like it feels good to be like, I did something yesterday, but progress does not equal soreness and soreness doesn't equal progress. So,
yeah. Yeah, and I'm a big believer in frequency nowadays. Frequency as opposed to hammering a muscle group one time per week. And so what this might look like, I still believe we should in general be taking a rest day in between when we train the muscle group. So if you hit whatever muscle group, whether it's a single muscle group or all the muscle groups hard on Monday, rest it Tuesday, but then come back and do it again on Wednesday or Thursday, right? Yep. I am a big believer, and I think the science kind of shows at this point that hitting a muscle group 3 times per week, like let's say you do the same number of total sets, right? Let's say let's just talk about chest, I'm going to do chest for 15 sets during the week. You could do all of those sets on Monday on International Chest Day or whatever, 5 exercises, 3 sets each for chest pump.
Yep.
Or you could split it up and do 5 sets of chest work Monday, 5 sets Wednesday, 5 sets Friday, right? The studies, I believe now will show that it actually works out better to split it up like that 3 days a week. Okay. Yep. And in my own just anecdotal experience, I think it works better like that as well, which is why in my own training, I try to make sure, however I'm doing it, whatever split I'm on, I'm trying to make sure that I'm hitting each muscle group at least twice, probably 3 times throughout each week.
Yep. Yeah. There's a lot of science that some of it has recently come out that says like you can basically push off the muscle loss that happens with age with as little as like 1 to 2 sets, I think twice per week of a single like movement, a big compound movement at the right intensity. So you don't need to do much, but you got to do it more frequently than what most people are, but not to the degree that they're doing it or the intensity. Yeah. So it's 3 days per week. And essentially the way we like to do it here is we structure it so you can do it circuit format. It's not a cardio workout, but you're rotating through for efficiency. So you do a pull movement, say you do a lat pull down. Then you go and you do a standing shoulder press. You can keep your equipment right there. And then you go into a, dumbbell RDL or a hinge movement. You can repeat through that. The stuff's all very close by. And you want to take a rest in between. You don't want the lung capacity to get in the way of your strength. But as soon as you're ready, so you work a certain muscle group, and while you're hitting the other ones, that first group is resting, and so they're fresh. In a perfect world, that's maybe not how it's done, but we're talking about efficiency. We're not talking about athletes. We're talking about busy parents, busy professionals that like they need to get in and out.
Yes.
And 30 minutes is usually the right dosage for active like sets, not including warm up, cool down, stretching, but you should be in and out of the gym in an hour. Like definitely.
Yes. Yeah. And that supersetting opposing muscle groups is a really good idea. And I just want to make sure it's fully laid out for someone. Let's say you're listening to this and you're like, all right, I don't want to actually pay you guys to come into your gym. Tell me what I'm supposed to do at home. So like, here's what you're going to do. You're going to do 1 set of say like a pulling exercise. Then I want you to rest for like 30 seconds. Okay. Just like a 30-second rest. Because let's say you're doing rows, a dumbbell row or something like that. If you're only doing dumbbell rows, you probably need to rest a minute, maybe even a minute and a half between sets to let those muscles get fresh again, right? To do another good hard set, okay? But if you say, okay, I'm going to do rows and now I'm going to do chest press with the dumbbells, you can get away with only resting maybe 30 seconds in between those sets and be much more time efficient with it. And then like Phil said, add in, some dumbbell lunges. So your rows, bench press, lunges with 30 seconds rest in between the sets, as opposed to, doing just rows, taking a minute and a half rest in between your sets. Yeah. Be able to take a lot longer, right? Now you might need to rest a little bit longer after the lunges. The lunges,
that's going to kick your ass. Walking lunges set of 20. You should be exhausted. So sometimes that's where the rest has to happen.
Yes.
But your body do a good job of telling you, hey, when you feel 89% better, jump back in.
Yes.
When I used to go to the LA Fitness in Uptown. And there was a point in time that I was doing one machine. It was like some plate loaded press machine, right? And I'm looking down this row of all these upper body pushing, incline press, flat press, these like hammer strength machines. Yeah. And there were 4 dudes about my age, all in between sets, just scrolling their phone. And they were all doing it at once and they had no idea. And so like I was looking at them, I was like, no one's going to look left or right. They were just so immersed. Yeah. And I was like, what are these guys doing? Because like I'm in there, I've always circuit trained this way because time's been efficient. Yeah. So then I take out my phone and I took a picture just to be like, I just got to capture. This is just kind of funny. Like no one's noticing. And then there were 5 dudes on their phone, but still, people kill their efficiency. And if you're not doing like, 3 rep max deadlifts where you need 5 minutes of rest for your central nervous system, like most people I'm talking to right now aren't doing that. You don't need to rest that long. You can keep moving. So that's why circuit format is so much more optimal for most people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you just reminded me think those dudes sound like the Coach Blakes of the gym, basically, that are just sitting there on the machines, texting on their phone in between sets. Yeah. I mean, we have to have a quick little, there's always a quick segment in each episode where we have to talk a little bit of shit about Coach Blake, just because, I'm required to do that because I love Coach Blake and he's way smarter than I could ever be from like a understanding the body perspective. But anyway, and so like, because Coach Blake, he'll do that every now and then. I'll ask him like, why don't you just work out here, man? Like he goes to LA Fitness to work out after his shifts here. I'm like, why don't you just work out? He's like, no, they don't have the right machines. We don't have the right machines.
We don't have a hack squat machine. We don't have hack squats.
Yeah.
I would love a hack squat machine.
Would you?
Oh yes. Yeah. Just for myself. That's why I got the GHD, but everyone's like, get that piece of garbage out of here. So it's in the storage unit next door.
We probably shouldn't have actually. I probably would use that thing more.
I'm going to bring it back.
About it. Is it still in the storage unit?
Yeah, it's waiting there right now.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of equipment there.
Oh, I didn't actually talk shit about Coach Blake. I kind of blew that one. You got lucky, Blake. Next time.
Well, here's the deal. If you got time for it, you can do whatever you want. But who we're speaking to and our goal on this is to help people work out more efficiently, more frequently, and get better results. And if you're busy and you only have an hour, resting 2 minutes between every set, you're going to get literally half the amount of work done that you can.
Yeah.
Just because you're like, well, I need to rest. It's like you can fill that in. Mm-hmm. So I think one thing I want to hit on this is like, well, we haven't talked about cardio.
What? Cardio?
What is that? Now,
what is cardio? Lunges are cardio for you guys.
They will. And if you're circuit training, you're still going to get like zone 2, 3, even 4 cardio. Yeah. Like it's going to be there if you're moving continuously. It's kind of like interval training. Any of that long form cardio stuff that can be done just through like brisk walking. You can get that a number of ways. You don't need to focus on that if it comes at the expense of strength training. Yeah. I'd like to kind of cover, because we talked about like the actual workout portion, but I think if people are listening, they really want the takeaway. I also want to talk about like beginning to finish. Like they walk into the gym, what do they do? Yeah. And kind of talk about our format for like the warm up. Yep. Like how those blocks work.
Now we're going to really plug it, huh? This is what you'll get when you walk into our beautiful gym.
Yeah. Yes, that's right. Yep. But I do think it's valuable because a lot of people skip the warm up and they don't know how much volume they should be doing. So like here's what we do in a lot of our sessions. People come in, there's usually low intensity, steady state cardio and intensity about 4 or 5 out of 10. So they're walking, doing an air bike, something just to get your joints warm and prep your body a little bit. Then there's some form of like power move, like a med ball slam to prep your nervous system, wake you up a little bit in the morning, and then mobility and maybe some core prep. That's usually very specific. Yep. And then we jump into the strength blocks. Yeah. And we do those 3 exercises, push, pull, legs. Yeah. Usually 3-ish rounds in about 12 minutes or so. Yeah. Yeah. 2 of those.
And really the whole warm-up piece can, even if you're like, oh my God, I'm old, I'm stiff, it's winter in Minnesota, it's negative 10 degrees outside, it's 6 a.m., my body's going to take a half hour to warm up. If we do it the right way, we can be pretty warm within 5 or 10 minutes, absolutely max. A good 5-minute warm-up with a little bit of what Phil talked about is really all most people need, right? And then, you talk about, so the people are going to ask like, okay, with strength training, right? If you say, let's do 3 strength training workouts per week, full body. Well, what exercises should I do? Right. You kind of already hit on it, but the key thing is to hit the best bang for your buck exercises. These are the compound lifts that involve multiple joints and multiple muscle groups. Okay. And really, it's like, how many exercises per workout should you do? Well, really, what we focus on here is if you've got 30 minutes and nothing more, some people can stay a little longer. Some people can stay up, 45, 60 minutes even, right? But let's say you got 30 minutes and you're like, nah, I ain't got time for anything else. 30 minutes. I told you 30 minutes. Okay. We can get in 6 exercises. Okay. We get in 6 exercises. And typically what this is going to look like, it's going to be for sure 1 upper body pushing movement, for sure an upper body pulling movement, probably 2 lower body movements, some version of a squat, hinge, or deadlift. Probably also going to include 1 core or rotational move and maybe some form of like a carry of some sort. But it's going to be 6 exercises that fall into those general broad categories. And like we talked about before, kind of supersetting opposing muscle groups with short rests in between, 30-ish seconds rest between the set. Essentially, you get in, 18 sets in 30 minutes, hitting the full body, right? I feel like I just gave the whole internet our
they have nothing to learn from us now.
Well,
no, that's
they
it.
Can steal that.
That is. No, that is, and I hope people do. The point of this is to help. This isn't a plug for what we do. Like this whole podcast is for us to share this information that we coach very, very often, and there's so much misinformation that it's our duty to make sure we do everything we can to make sure people do it right, whether or not it's with us or without us. Most people listening to this probably aren't going to be local anyway. So
we're that big already, huh?
Oh, we're massive.
We're worldwide.
I think we have 13 subscribers at this point. We are taking off to the moon.
I mean, so we got 8 coaches plus Katie, your wife. So that's like 9, I guess 10. So we have 3 other subscribers. You're telling me?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, those are the people I'm talking to.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Actually, I don't know who subscribed. I subscribed.
I think I subscribed.
I don't know why.
Yeah. So we have 11 non-us subscribers.
All 2 of you. You're getting a lot of value. Okay, so we got those blocks, and you hit it on the head. That's why we do it that way. And then, like, when we're talking about what do we do after the strength piece, that's where we will tend to put in some sort of like finisher. Maybe there's a little bit more core or grip, but optimally we like to have that in there. You'll get core and grip from your bigger movements anyway. It's another big plus that you're not getting from those bicep curls. Your arms will get toned. They will get plenty toned by doing those other movements.
Yes.
Don't forget about nutrition, though.
Oh, whoa! I didn't know this episode was about that. Okay, go on.
You're going to build the muscle underneath that subcutaneous fat, but unless we do anything to put you in that slight calorie deficit, they're not going to show how you want them to. So we've already got a few episodes on that. But remember, nutrition's key. But to get that sculpted look, we got to build muscle, especially in areas like our butt and things like that. Everyone wants like a well-shaped booty. You got to build you got to build it up. Okay, so the finisher piece. Anything to add to the booty comment?
The booty. You can go a lot of ways with that. Yeah, build your booty with Phil Schrupp. Yeah,
that's not my
Jesus
brand.
Christ! I'm just imagining you.
Not this.
I want to see any like a YouTube series with you.
I'll wear some yoga pants. That would get a lot more traction than what we're talking about right now. It would.
If you did it, it definitely wouldn't. Anyway.
Okay. All right. We want to test that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Please don't do that. Okay. Don't have you be the one that does that.
No promise.
Anyway, there was something else I was going to add though. Okay. Yeah. A point I want to hammer home though, even for people who are like, well, no, I need to build a lot of muscle. Let's say it is biceps. Let's say I need to grow my arms. I need to grow my biceps. Of course, I got to do bicep curls. Not even necessarily, honestly. Like, I've grown bigger biceps by doing pull-ups and lat pull-downs really well, which are the compound exercises that are technically a back exercise, but the bicep is the secondary muscle. Okay. And when you think about it, cool. I'm doing bicep curls with a 25, 30 pound dumbbell, whatever. But think about how much bicep work you're getting when you're having to pull your entire 200 pounds or whatever you weigh up on a pull-up. Like the compound movements are the ones that actually grow the muscles in general more than the isolation moves, okay? It's not going to say that you're never going to see me in a gym in front of the mirror going, let's crank out some curls. I do it every now and then, but it's not that valuable, okay? Blake does it more. I guarantee he does it more than I do, okay?
Yeah, it's just two different plugs. You're trying to make up for the previous.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, you're trying to.
We were moving too fast today. I can't talk shit properly when we're moving this fast. We don't have time.
Yeah. Accessory work, I think, is best reserved for people who have straight hypertrophy training goals or bodybuilding goals or athletes. Or if we're talking about something with like PT or, something around injury or sports specific. Other than that, if you're just trying to get healthy and strong, you just skip it for now. You're still going to see the same, if not better results. And you're going to get better grip strength and better core strength because of the ways that you're doing it. So, finisher, that's where you're going to fit in some of that stuff. But when we talk about finishers, we do very, very short ones, like 4 or 5 minutes, very high intensity, but very brief. So this could be, you name it. It could be a 20-second sprint on the air bike, rest for 20 to 40 seconds or until you're ready. Do that 4 times, right?
Yeah.
Or it's something that you're moving really light and really fast.
Right.
You're going to get that heart rate up really high and then it's going to come down.
Yep.
If you're older, this is where that scope of coaching needs to come in because you shouldn't do anything that's going to put you too high.
Yep.
But that's how we like to do that. And then there's cool down stretching. So honestly, that part, you're going to be more mobile and flexible after a strength training session when done properly, taking it to full range of motion, using the right loads, than if you just stretch anyway. But that's the time where you do that. Mm-hmm. When I was in middle school, our warm up was
stretching.
It was holding a static stretch, like a couple for like 60 seconds and then just running around the track. And it's so much the science says like, no, that's so wrong now.
Yeah. Now here's what I want to test you on though. Can you, because I think most of us are like aware of that now, but can you, because I still struggle with this, can you explain to the audience the science behind why static stretching before a workout is not a good idea? I
think it all has to do with the temperature. The temperature of those muscles, because when the muscles are cold, so to speak, or we haven't warmed them up, they're already a little less pliable. So that's why just doing like an air bike or a row or something like that, it just raises your internal temperature. And that's one of the trains of thought. Okay. There's been some studies to suggest that it hurts your ability to lift heavier weights later. I think that's not worth even considering, but it just feels better, I think, for people to like move and then do some of those stretches. But when we're warm, the muscles are more pliable. So it's easier to, I think, advance through those stretches. Yeah.
So you went the Tom Brady route with the pliability. I'm not sure if that's a real thing, but I guess it is. Yeah. So, because I was going to say kind of the second thing you were talking about, which you said you shouldn't worry about, which is that like, I've kind of heard like the central nervous system, and essentially it calms the central nervous system when we static stretch. So then when the central nervous system is not as fired up, then we can't exert as much force as well. And then it's even a greater risk of injury actually. I don't know. This is a tricky one. You know what I mean? Like it's like, I feel like we're all hearing this now, but I don't think we have the same exact reasons on why. And it's like, well, the internet told me this, so I believe it now. You know?
Well, I think it sounds like we both agree in that you probably shouldn't do it, whether or not, for whatever reason. Now, if someone loves doing that before they work out, like, be our guest. But this is, again, we're talking about efficiency. And most people walk out of here like, I ain't got time to stretch. And we're like, I wish you would. The other thing about stretching is to actually build changes in that muscle tissue. We need to hold stretches for like a long time, like 2 minutes per stretch.
2 minutes? Holy.
Who's got time for that?
Mother of God. I thought I was doing, hold on, because I do static stretching at night now before I go to bed. And I try to hold for 20 to 30 seconds. 2 minutes?
That's what some of the research has said, which is very annoying.
Where are you getting this research?
And like I got the studies. I pulled minutes. Now here's the deal. Obviously everyone's different. But the point is you will get mobility. Like if you do a deep squat and you're challenging the range of motion of those joints, you're going to walk out being like, if you pay attention to it, you're going to be like, I feel so much more flexible now. Like my knees feel better because I've got them worked out. I've worked all the surrounding tissues. You're going to feel better afterwards. You're going to have more range of motion because you put those joints through that range of motion. Again, at the right load. You like if you go too heavy, you tax the range of motion too much, that's not going to be good. But that's also part of that warm up too. You open up some spaces so you have less chance of injury. And that's probably the biggest thing for a warm up is you want to prep your joints for the movement. Your muscles will probably be okay, but it's more about the mobility for a lot of people.
And this is another key thing to hammer home when we talk about efficiency and proper strength training is that proper strength training through full range of motion will give you mobility and kind of therefore flexibility. I mean, people, especially the older population, likes to use the term flexibility over mobility when a lot of times what they're looking for is mobility anyway.
Right.
But basically you can actually you can do a 30-minute strength training session where you don't even really do a warm up, so to speak, in terms of another activity or exercise. Like your warm up can literally just be some lightweight sets of what you're about to do. with, a lighter weight, getting through the full range of motion. And then on the, second, third set, you get up to the heavier weight, and then a cool down, it just, it's not super necessary, the stretching. Right. I mean, it's good, but yeah.
I think it's great for like calming you back down. Like a workout should be a very stimulating, healthy stressor. So sometimes it's good to like shift that fight or flight response back into rest and digest.
Sure,
right?
Yeah. Don't listen to me. Stretch. Everybody stretch. Sorry.
Yeah. No. But I don't think it's it's not necessary, especially if you're like me and you're like, I gotta stretch, but I'm stressed out about the time I have to stretch. Then it kind of counteracts. One thing I don't want to say about flexibility versus mobility is they are very related, but it can be kind of confusing to understand the two. Yeah. Flexibility is like the ability to like hold and actually get a body part to a certain degree, but mobility is the ability to like move it through that range of motion with good control. Yeah. So if there's one of the two we should focus on, I'd rather have people do mobility or very light loaded strength training, right? That is like loaded stretching, because that's way more functional. That's going to prep you better than just taking a band, throwing it around your foot and holding your leg up. Like where in life would you be in that? Oh, shoot. Yeah. Where are you going to be in that position? Man, I dug that one for myself. Sorry, everybody.
This is going to be part of the Phil Glute series.
Oh, it's too bad we said we're not editing anything out.
No, we're not. We do not edit a damn thing. Okay.
So yeah, we don't want to like overcorrect people. Flexibility, mobility, they're close to the same thing, but we just want to be able to move with confidence wherever you are. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We got a couple minutes. What else, Sean, do you think is worth noting on this? Should we give him another step goal reminder?
No, nah. Okay. We've already done that enough. Yeah. Just don't be a couch potato on your days off. Let's see.
Really that simple.
Oh gosh, just exercise programming. We've hit it. We've already said focus on the main compound movements at the beginning of the workout. Let's say you got 15 minutes. Okay. You're like, I don't even got 30, dude. I can't hit these 6 exercises. Get 3 of them and do the main compound movements. Do a lower body, which would either be a squat or a hinge movement. Do an upper body push and an upper body pull, 2 to 3 sets each. Done. Go on about your day. Literally 15 minutes a day. I'm going to break it down this way. 15 minutes a day, 3 times per week can maintain a good amount of muscle mass. 15 minutes a day, 1 time a week. Okay. 1 time a week, based on what the studies show, can maintain muscle mass if you do 3 good compound exercises.
Yep. The fact that like strength training is so effective for such a myriad of different health metrics, the fact it's so underutilized, the fact that it helps depression and anxiety and metabolic health and our quality of life, all the advantages it has against actual medication and prescriptions, it is absolutely bonkers that it's not seen as more of a tool and resource. That's obviously a bigger question as to why that is, but that is the number one thing you can do for your health and fitness and just your longevity and your lifespan and your health span is to strength train 2 to 3 days a week, total body. Just do what we say. You're going to feel better. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
We should call it there. I mean, you just use the terms myriad and bonkers in the same sentence.
I sure did.
So I can't top that. Let's get out of here, I suppose.
I went high and low on that one.
Yep.
Well, thank you for listening, everybody. Get your workouts in. If you need any help with this stuff, just reach out. We'll give you a hand.
Peace.
Adios, amigos.
Love y'all.